Hi guys, it's Mike again, and thanks for following me through on these CSS tutorials. This is what we're going to code today. So what I thought, we've done center align on the x-axis, and now we need to go center align on in the vertical axis as well. But you know, I realise that you've learned quite a bit of CSS code now, so now's the time to add more code and have some fun. So what we're going to do is create effectively a splash page for a website. So what we've got here is a background image. We've got a black block in the middle with our whatever heading you want in there for your business or your web application and so on. So you know, sort of that's it. So I created some learning objectives. I only had one at the beginning, so which was how to center things vertically. But then, of course, then I had the bright idea that we'll do some more. And then, so what we're going to do is how to add an icon, how to link to a CDN, which stands for Content Delivery Network, how to add a cover image, and how to link to an image from somewhere else on the web. So that's it. So let's do some coding, yeah? So as usual, on the left-hand side, I've got my Text Wrangler text editor, and at some stage we'll move on to a more posh text editor, but for now I want to use a basic one so we can spot any errors and see how we go. And on the right-hand side, I've got the browser, and what it's saying right now, let's just get rid of that because I had that earlier. All it says is I code. So I'm going to hit refresh and make sure I've got the same thing running. So let's have a look at the HTML. So within our body, I've got a division, one div with an ID of black box. And within the division, I've got a header with an H1 called iCode, and that's what you can see in the browser on the right-hand side. Okay, so let's style the black box. So I'm coming up into the head section in my style area. I'm still doing on page CSS basically because I've got very little HTML. So let's do hashtag. So hashtag black box and curly braces as usual. And funnily enough, we want the background color. And I'm going to call it black, but you can use the hex code of hashtag all the zeros. I'm going to give black box a width of, let's say, 400 pixels. So I'm going to save and refresh into one now, and we've got 400 pixel wide box. Don't forget, we can't see the text anymore because the text is black as well. So what we can do, I'm going to style the header. So just header, no dot or hashtag, because it's an element in itself. So I'm going to go text align initially, pop it in the center, just like we've learned previous. I'll give it a color of white. Hex code, that will be hashtag FFF, and I'll give it a font size. Let's go big. So font size, I'm going to go 2EM, so that should be about 32 pixels high. And I've got I know, let's give it a font family, otherwise it would be that ugly thing. And I'm going to give it a font family of, in this case, Helvetica, which is a nice font as well. Okay, I'm going to hit save and refresh into one now, and hey, that's really nice. So I've got iCode. Now you remember in that sort of first image that I showed you, it's got a heart in the middle of it. So how on earth do we do that? Well, let me go to my browser. Oh, I've got the browser open already. Let's just open a new tab. Okay, so there's a few places you can find icons and whatnot for free on the web, but a real favourite of web devs is called Font Awesome. So just type in Font Awesome to one of your browsers and click go, and Font Awesome is here. It is an awesome website. That's probably how they named it that way. And so you've got free stuff, and then you've got paid for stuff. I'm just going to go for the free stuff. The sort of top navigation feature, there's icons, so you can click the icons, and you can see there's lots of icons here. The black and white ones that you can see are free ones, the grey and white ones are the paid for. So I want a free heart icon, and you can see that anything that is named heart is turned up, and I just want this one at the top left hand corner, which is going blue and flashing blue. That's because I'm just hovering on it. So I just clicked on there, and above the big icon what we've got is some code, which is like pointy brackets I class something, etc. So I've just copied that just by clicking on there, and let's go back to our code. So I'm coming down to our H1 tag because I want I heart code. Okay, and so that's what I've just added. Now, if I save and come back to our browser and refresh, nothing happens. Basically, because I've got to grab somehow the CSS from Font Awesome. Now, how do we do that? Well, I always use another awesome website. Okay, so I've in the search engine I've typed in Font Awesome Cloudflare, and this is the sort of top link that I've found, and straight on to the CDNJS website, and what we see is all the links to the Font Awesome sort of JavaScript and whatnot. However, we don't want JavaScript, we want CSS, so I'll click there, and what we see here is a whole list of links. So I'm going to go for that top one because it says all.css. So come over to the right, hit copy, and then come to our code. What we need to do is create a link in our head section, okay, just under here. So I'm going to create link and tell our equals, tell it that it's a style sheet. Okay, so it's, and give it an href, just like any link that we know, equals, and within our inverted commas, paste what we've just that we've just copied from Cloudflare, and then we're going to go back to our browser. I'm going to click refresh, and guess what? We've got a heart. How cool is that? However, the heart's looking a bit big, so I want it to be about the same size as the letter C. So in our CSS, I'm going to grab the I of I class, the heart thing, I, curly brackets as usual, okay, and then let's give it a font size. And this is just going to be a guess, and I'm going to go 0.08 EM or 0.8 EM, save. I'm going to return or refresh, and it's a little bit too tall, so I'm going to go 0.7 EM, save, and refresh, and that looks much better. So the heart is looking the same size as the letter C, which is what I wanted, and now I'm going to give it a colour of red because, and I've just hit caps lock, which is so annoying. So colour red, save, and refresh in 2.1 now, boom. So hey, how awesome is that? I heart code. Okay, so the next bit is to center the whole thing. Don't forget we want it to center left and right, and also center up and down. So how do we do that? Well, let's go back to the black box because this is the bit we need to center. Okay, now a couple of videos ago we looked at positioning, and so I'm going to give this a position of absolute, and I want it to be about 50% down. When I say about 50% down, I want it exactly 50% down, and I want from the left, I want 50% as well. Okay, so hopefully you remember, or you watched that video and you remember that if we now refresh the page, it sort of goes down and to the left, but it's not in the center. So can you remember why? Yeah, it's because it's the top left-hand corner that we've centered, not sort of the center of the box. So now what we need to do is give it a margin. Okay, so margin left, and margin left is based on the width, and I want half of that, so that's 200. So that's minus 200 pixels. And you know, the next bit is a bit of a guess actually, because I don't know the exact height, but you know, it looks about a quarter of the width. So I'll give that 100. Margin 200 is the width, yeah. So that's margin top minus 100. Okay, so refresh. Oh wow, that was a good guess. That looks about centered left and right, up and down. Okay, the next thing to do is to add a background image. So how on earth do we do that? Well, let's find a nice image first. Okay, and one of my favourite websites for that, I'm just going back to Google, is called Unsplash. Okay, and it says beautiful free images and pictures. So I've clicked on there. This is their lovely homepage with a nice picture in the background, and I want a picture of some code. And you know, these are awesome pictures taken by sort of amateur and professional photographers, and this is the on the right hand side, this is the one I used earlier. So I'm just going to come back to my my code, and what we need to do, because the image is going to be in the background, I'm going to target the root, so the HTML, which will cover the whole page. So how am I going to do this? Well, the image is going to be in the background. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm not going to download the photo. I'm going to link to it over the internet. So URL, that's the link, and normal parentheses, and I've come back over to the picture on the web, and I don't know whether you'll be able to see it, but I've got this little magnifying icon, so I'm going to click on there and go bigger, and now I'm going to copy the image address. Come back to my code, so here we are, background, URL, and within the parentheses, paste. Okay, so I'm going to hit save, and come to my browser, refresh. Okay, whoa, so in the background, the sort of text looks big and so on and so forth. So, it's looking good, but there's something to be added. So back up here within HTML, we've just gone background, and now we can go background -size and give it a name of cover. Okay, so there we go. Background size. I'm going to hit save. Now look what happens when I click refresh in 2, 1 now, and you can see that we've got the whole of the original image from the photographer. So that's looking really nice. However, there's always, if you're using somebody else's images and so on, it's a real good idea to effectively I can't say it attribute them for their work. So in this instance, what we can do is I'm going to click download for free. I don't want it, so I've just clicked because I know this pop-up appears to say thank you. So here's the text, and I'm going to copy that and come over to our code, and underneath our black box in the HTML, I'm going to create a div, give it an ID, something meaningful, so I'm going to call it thanks, and close the div off. And within that division, I'm going to give a p tag. Yeah, I've spotted that. And paste the thank you message or the photo by Florian Oliver on Unsplash and hit save. Now, of course, when we go to our browser, I don't think we're going to see anything. I'm going to click refresh, and oh, there it is right at the top. Can you see that top left-hand corner? But it's black, and I don't want it at the top left. I want it at the bottom right. So you'll remember from our positioning and our sort of font work, we can provide a colour to this ID of thanks. So it's an ID, so I need the hashtag and thanks, then curly braces. There we go. First I'll give it a colour so we can refresh and actually see it in the top left. I'm going to give it colour white. If you want hex code, it's hashtag FFF or Foxtrot, and save and refresh, and you can see that our thank you message is in white font at the top left. Bearing in mind it's again it's a yucky font family, so I can copy the font family of Helvetica, and then what we need to do is use that position technique again. Position absolute. Oh, come on. I do apologise about my spelling. So absolute, and instead of top, I want bottom, I'll give it 10 pixels. And instead of the left, I want the right this time, and give that 10 pixels too. And hit save. And let's just get rid of that download feature. Let's refresh in 2, 1 now. Boom. And all of a sudden, what you see in the sort of bottom right-hand corner, where we wanted it exactly, was photo by Florian Oliver on Unsplash. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still with me, that's as far as I wanted to go. So let's have a look at the learning objectives that I sort of laid out earlier. So what we've done, we've centered the black box vertically, we've centered it horizontally, we've added the heart icon, we used a link on cdnjs.com, CDN standing for Content Delivery Network, and then we added a background cover image from unsplash.com by using the link to their website, not downloading the image. I showed you how to do all that as well. Wow. So this is about 20 minutes worth of your time and my time, and I really appreciate you watching this. And if you liked it, please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, whatever you want to do. This is Mike signing out. I'll see you in the next one.